This is the greatest green creature in the history of Magic the Gathering. And whether you agree with me or not, I mean, maybe you think Birds of Paradise is better, or Hermit Druid, or Scavenging Ooze or something, the impact Primeval Titan has had on multiple formats in the history of Magic is undeniable. I mean, many of you are Commander players who have probably never even played with this card because it's banned. But what a lot of people don't know, who have only ever heard of the legend of Primeval Titan, is that it represents the green part of one of the greatest and most elegantly designed cycles in the history of Magic. Back when M11 first came out, just a year after Magic had kind of reinvented its core set philosophy and decided to start printing really powerful, unique, and original cards in those sets, we got this cycle of Titans. Big, super powerful, splashy 6-drop creatures that came down, did something amazing when they entered the battlefield, and did the same thing on attack. These 5 creatures kind of represented the new philosophy with Magic design, which was that big, great creatures that cost a lot of mana suck if they don't do something when they enter the battlefield, and 6 mana was right at the top of constructed playable. Remember, 2010, 2011, Commander wasn't the only format people talked about. People were playing Standard, and these cards were great. Primeval Titan is very clearly the best of the 5 of these because the card is way pushed and just over the line in terms of its power level. It's green, green 4 for a 6/6 giant with trample. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may search your library for up to 2 land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. The thing that's so special about Primetime, as this card is referred, is that it's any lands. It's not just basic lands, which means you can get Thespian Stage and Dark Depths. You can just get like Strip Mine and Wasteland if you're playing in Commander. Even in the days of Standard, you would get like Kessig Wolf Run. The elegance of Primeval Titan and the power level of this card has been well documented, but the other 4 cards in the cycle are amazing as well. I think overall, Grave Titan has to be the second most powerful. Black, black 4 for a 6/6 Death Touch Giant. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you put 2/2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. 6 mana for 10 power over 3 bodies is just such a beating. It's great in a control deck, it's great in a mid-range deck, and it's just very, very hard to remove. Probably third best if you're just kind of ranking all formats is going to be Sun Titan. White, white 4 for a 6/6 Vigilance Titan. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you've ever played Savine's Reclamation, you know the power of this effect. Sun Titan, because it kind of functions as like a combo card, is very, very good. It wasn't as good in Standard as the big black, green, and red ones, but I do think Sun Titan is pretty wonderful, and again, it's very interesting and cool design space for white. Inferno Titan has had enormous impact in 1v1 formats because the 3 damage you get out of it is so impactful when you have 20 life. Red, red 4 for a 6/6 that has fire breathing, and when it enters the battlefield, does 3 damage divided as you choose. I love the juxtaposition where Grave Titan is very hard to remove, but Inferno Titan is better at removing. And finally, Frost Titan, blue, blue 4 for a 6/6 that when it becomes the target of a spell or ability opponent controls, counter that spell unless it pays 2. When it enters or attacks, tap target permanent, doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Very clearly the weakest of the 5 Titans, but just like many of these cycles, just like Subtlety in the Elemental cycle, this is the best Titan against the other Titans if you have a format where people are playing Titans, because this locks down the other Titans. Truly one of the most impactful and brilliantly designed cycles ever in the history of Magic. Hats off to the designers.